We're live. Just checking if everything's working correctly, getting a sound check. Okay, today's day 3 of the 21 days. Setting the stage for change. Actually, the title that came to me, I was focused on how I would describe giving up, trying to change my circumstances and events, and thought about I don't know how useless that would be. And all of a sudden I had this instinct to say, that's brilliant. That is absolutely brilliant. What is setting up the stage for change is seeing that I didn't have to do all of those things that my mind was telling me to do. But if I just say that, it's not really going to satisfy anyone's mind or anyone's thought, and anyone would just come up and say, well, that just sounds pathetic. What are you talking about? Exactly. Everyone has this image about how things should be. And if you want to change something, the logic of the mind says, hang on, if it's not like this, it needs to be like this. And if it's like this, it'll be better. It'll be right. It'll be the right way. And there was this constant thinking that just kept me spinning around and round and round and round and round in circles. So why I wanted to write about this and talk about this and emphasize and point to it is that before we can actually experience any kind of difference from our normal way of looking at things, and it is a bit addictive because everyone, the majority of people we look around, I go outside and everyone is convinced about being someone. Thinking is the most addictive action on this planet. Everyone thinks, constantly thinking, constantly thinking, constantly thinking, and they believe they have to keep thinking themselves into being. You wake up in the morning, you open your eyes, and every thought that comes to you, you believe it's about you. Today I woke up and everything was much slower. Like everything I said yesterday, just I started to really embody it, like the present moment. That's what I'm highlighting, the present moment. Whatever comes up, feel it. Whatever comes up, feel it. Whatever comes up, feel it. Be with it. Engulf it. You are the love that is loving it. You are the space that holds it. You are the stillness that allows it. And I'd like that part of you to start being highlighted. When you're not thinking, in those rare moments of spontaneous no thought, you don't just cease to exist as an identity. Nothing ceases to exist. More of you is there to see. There's less obstacles in the way. There's less of something limiting in the way. So you get the full-blown, peaceful, loving experience. That's why people get mesmerized with beautiful scenery and sunsets and get lost in a dog's eyes, that you just look at each other, because the dog has no thought about you. It doesn't care who you are, doesn't know who you are. It just loves you unconditionally. So I want to point to the fact that you can love yourself unconditionally. How do I do that? I had a question yesterday that came through, something along the lines of, I'm feeling very disappointed in myself, and now I'm sad. How do I change that? What knows how to define it like that? You see, the three elements that actually allow you to have an experience, and this, in one of my teachers, Bentinho Massaro, actually, when he just said it just felt like, hang on, I got that. It was just like the three elements are when you can define something, then you can see it, and then you can feed it. The mind says, I've had an experience. Like, those are three elements where you believe you've had an experience. So the feeling of disappointment, that's a label, all right? Describing, labeling, defining, categorizing. It's all mind, words. Words linked together made a sentence, and now believes it knows the experience. Okay, so we've given a name to this emotion. I'm disappointed in myself. So feel it. Why would you want to change it? Why would you want to change anything that is arising? It's not you, but you don't know that yet. Your mind cannot know that. You have to be with no mind. You have to be the one looking at the mind. You need to be the one realizing, noticing that you are the one seeing what arises. You are that. And if I label it, you're not that. Appreciating staying in stillness, noticing when you're not thinking. What remains? What is there? It's peace, still, presence, present moment. Whatever arises in the present moment, be with it. You don't need to label it. You don't need to fix it. You don't need to do anything with it. Setting the stage for change. Be in the present moment. Be with whatever arises. Start there. The mind will say, that's difficult. Another labeling. And you're imagining that. Why am I just going to do this? Sit there. Just going to sit there. I'm wasting my time. I could be doing so many other things. Great, fine. Schedule the time in. I schedule three slots in every single day. When I wake up, during the day, and just before I go to sleep. I slot them in. I make sure that I can keep this momentum going, that yes, when you get lost in the mind, you run with it, you have the experience. It's happened. It happens. But the more you prioritize being in the present moment, and for those that haven't read it, the book by Eckhart Tolle, that was like the stepping off that cliff for me, was just seeing that someone has really experienced it and written about it, being in the present moment, the power of now. Very eloquently written by Eckhart Tolle. That's a number one book you have to read. It'll really help you. Because there's no way I can convince you to stop thinking or to stop believing your thoughts. There's nothing I can do, no one can do. It's simply by wanting to realize that I'm suffering a lot, and I've been suffering every day about something, and I'm tired. I am literally exhausted. Something needs to change. That's Those are the people I want to talk to. You're absolutely right. Something needs to change. This cannot keep going on. You're absolutely right. Things need to change. But we have to get the whole world to change so you can just look at it and say, I look at that. That feels good. I look at that. Look at that. I look at that. Everything's in its little pigeonhole and I can just go about it. That's never going to happen, because the outside world is a reflection of all of us. Like Gandhi said, be the change you wish to see. That's how things are evolving and changing. So many people are waking up, describing these coaches and gurus and teachers, all trying to point to it. These beautiful articles I read about other people, just appreciating the present moment. The mind says, oh, there's nothing there. And just realizing the qualities of the mind, that it keeps defining and categorizing. Every time I open my mouth, I hear myself describing something. The fact that I notice that highlights it more. And noticing, just keep noticing. Aha moments. Those moments where you, I see that. You notice that. I notice that I've been unaware about a so-called problem. That's also a noticing. Noticing the words and noticing the silence. Noticing the stillness, noticing whatever thought comes up. I have no obligation of believing it. There's no obligation to believe that it is talking about you. Sadness is appearing. Be sad. Present moment. But when you attempt to define everything and give a meaning to everything, that's when the suffering gets perpetuated, because you believe you're actually talking about you. Highlight that which is not mind. What is mind? Mind defines, describes, categorizes, pigeonholes, judges, condemns, criticizes. What are the qualities of awareness? Stillness, presence, peace, present moment, presence, beingness, stillness, silence. Stay there. Sadness arises, see it. Notice. Allow the body to feel it. Don't make a story of sadness is a bad thing. I shouldn't be feeling this. A bad thing. Shouldn't be feeling this. How do I change that? What do you want to change? Allowing you to feel it is already transforming you. The frequency is getting higher. You're elevated. You've released that up. You've released that weight. You've released. That's the changing, by allowing yourself to feel it. That's what changes. After you feel the sadness, what happens? You breathe. You feel lighter. You feel relief. There you go. It's changed. You've accepted, you've been with the present moment. You didn't judge it, condemn it. That's refusing the present moment. Therefore, things just get more and more resistance. Fighting the present moment. You want change. What you're really asking for is, I want to feel differently. You got to get clear of what you actually want. Go and have a look what is actually causing the suffering. And what is causing the suffering is not accepting this present moment. End of story. And most of us have been trapped in that, from disempowering to anger, and then we back down. Disempowering to anger, back down, back down. And that's the gap where we keep on our whole life. And people get aggravated. Oh my God, it's Christmas again. Don't like all of this. Like they'll even get upset with a word or a season or some holiday, and they will find anything to get upset about. Why? Because they're stuck there. They need to get angry, but then they go outside and just vomit it all over everybody else. Stay at home and sort this out. Find time to be in the present moment with yourself, where you feel free to feel whatever is. Feel the freedom of feeling whatever appears. You've got to schedule it in. Don't say I am unless you put something you want after it. Don't say I am. Who's saying I am? Reflect on that. Appreciate silence and notice. Appreciate stillness. Notice what arises. Appreciate whatever arises. That is meditation, where you don't do anything. You don't try to accomplish anything. You don't try to fix anything. There is nothing to fix. Be there. Practice being there more and more. Make room for the present moment. Practice it more. Beingness, presence, space, spaciousness. Do things slowly. Notice. Notice that thoughts arise within you. Notice when they arise. You can see them. It's a description. Notice an image arising. Notice. Don't need to label it. Life does not need subtitles. Description, description, and description. Oh, look, there's a tree. Have you seen that tree? It's a beautiful tree. Oh, look. Did you see that? It's a beautiful color. Did you see that? Did you see that? Did you see that? Sounds familiar. It's like going out with subtitles. Describing, defining everything. And then we just define and describe what we perceive as missing. And then we think, oh my God, that's me. Just notice that. Spend more time, pencil in more time in your calendar that you will prioritize seeing, noticing, appreciating that space. You'll begin to really appreciate presence, that silence. Notice what arises, and whatever arises, allow it to be. I will see you tomorrow. Practice accepting whatever thought arises. Don't try and fix it. Don't try and change it. Just feel what it's asking you to feel. Let it move through you. By the end of these 21 days, I hope you can really, really appreciate what you've never seen before will start to become more evident.